Our next speaker is Lennox Yearwood, Reverend Lennox Yearwood, chairperson of the Hip Hop Caucus, and as you can see, coming to the podium on crutches because of the brutal attack carried out him, unprovoked attack by the Capitol Police the other day as he was waiting to go into the hearings for the Petraeus report.
All right. I'm also an Iraq vet against the war. So I stand with my brothers today because on Monday I was brutally beaten and I felt like I was in a time warp in the 60s. I felt like at that time being the only person of color in the line going to the hearing to hear General Petraeus. And I know that when generals lie, soldiers die. And so I recognized that I needed to be there because the one thing that my organization does is to make government more transparent, and it tries to convince urban youth that we do have a democracy and not to be afraid of Capitol Hill. Instead, while I was standing there, I was thrown to the ground and I was stomped and beaten. And I must admit that as I was covered with so many officers, I felt that light go out. And it wasn't that living source light, Tiffany, with that light that reminded me that why am I doing this? You know, why did Martin die in that balcony? Why did Fannie Lou Hamer get beaten? Why did Frederick Douglass? Why did so many of those who fought as color fought? Why am I on this ground? I never, as a child, as one of those black kids in the neighborhood, I never got arrested, and I went to school and got a bachelor's and got a master's and was an officer in the Air Force. And now I am just trying to speak truth to power, just trying to make sure that the millions of Iraqis who are dying, mothers and fathers and the soldiers who are dying, just want to be in the room to hear some truth. But instead, I'm literally being stomped and beaten, and that light went out. I can hear it. I can't tell you how I felt. At a moment, I gave up. I said, well, forget it, America. Obviously, if you're just going to go around beating black men in the halls of Congress, if you're just going to go around having Agenda 6, then forget it. If the Asians and Latinos, the blacks and whites, if we can't come together, forget it. If this is going to be a country for the rich only, forget it. And then all of a sudden, I started to hear like a heartbeat. I started to hear this arrest Bush, not Rev, and out of nowhere, like a little light, I heard arrest Bush, not Rev. It kept getting louder and louder. I heard arrest Bush, not Rev. And you know what I said on the ground? I said, you're damn right. Why am I on the ground? Arrest Bush, not Rev. Why am I on the ground? I didn't send any troops to be killed. Arrest Bush, not Rev. I don't have 1 million Iraqis' deaths on my hands. Arrest Bush, not Rev. I'm not taking money from lobbyists or corporations. Arrest Bush, not Rev. I'm not walking around in limousines and eating caviar and got fine suits. You're right. Arrest Bush, not Rev. I don't have, if I was president, you would have health care and good schools. Arrest Bush and not Rev. And this codependent Congress as well. And so I looked up and I happened to see Dee Dee, who is Cindy's sister, being carried away in handcuffs. And I began to see my mother in the movement over here being carried away in handcuffs. And that light became stronger. At the hospital, these two brothers were right there. And I recognized that when the world sees that tape of this black guy being beaten in the hall, they're going to be thinking that it's racist. And you know what? It probably has some racist connotations, but the peace movement is not racist, and we're going to be black and white. We're going to be brown and yellow. When It's about peace. It's not about, this is the dream generation. We refuse to have war in the 21st century. We refuse to have racism in the 21st century. We will stick together. And Mr. Bush and Mr. Cheney and Ms. Pelosi and Mr. Reed, you will not break up what we have evolved to. We are evolving past war. War is obsolete. We are evolving past racism. Racism is obsolete. We are evolving past poverty. Poverty is obsolete. And